time to wake up. It's Saturday morning. Find some milk and cereal. Grab a bowl and spoon. No, a bigger spoon. Head to the living room and take a seat on the floor while Joseph and Chris present to you Saturday Morning Cartoon!
Hello everybody and welcome to Saturday Morning Cartoon Boom. This is a show where we wake up with the Saturday morning sun, plop down a living room for a big bowl of sugary cereal and watch all your favorite cartoons, both old and new. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Chris.
And this morning we watched My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. You know what? I love the way this one starts, actually, the theme song, because it's like the original theme song and then it just starts rocking out a little bit more.
I gotta say, I don't have any experience with the original theme song, so I don't really know what to say to that.
See, I thought that when I first heard it, I was like, oh, it's going to be the exact same song because it's like really calm. It's just like, My Little Pony, My Little Pony. But then it starts rocking out. So I'm like, oh, okay, this is a lot cooler now. It's updated.
Yeah, I agree. So I thought it was going to be a really cheesy intro, like also. And it was at first, but then it was just like, it went into like pop punk cover version of My Little Pony. And I was like, okay, I see what you're doing.
Yeah, I see what you did there.
Oh, and this is My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. There's a big distinction there.
Oh, yeah. Who suggested this one to us?
This was suggested by Ben. Ben, now confirmed, our youngest listener that we know of. and he sent us a video clip of himself asking us to cover this show. And it was super cute. And like, we couldn't say no.
No way.
As much as we wanted to say no to My Little Pony, we kind of, we did it.
Thanks, think Ben. So? Yeah, thank you, Ben. But you know what? I'll save my feelings for when we're actually reviewing it. But I was surprised.
Yeah. Oh.
So the show My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, ran from 2010 to, actually it's still running, so it's still going. Created and developed by, originally, My Little Pony, the franchise, was created by Bonnie Zackerly, and this version of it was developed by Lauren Faust for the first two seasons, and then from the third season on by Megan McCarthy, produced by Hasbro Studios and DHX Media / Vancouver. It's so far run for 7 seasons, 159 episodes on the Hub Network from 2010 to 2014, and on Discovery Family from 2014 to present. For a short synopsis, after learning that her friends, as well as herself, are the magical elements of harmony, studious unicorn Twilight Sparkle is sent by her mentor, Princess Celestia, to Ponyville to study the magic of friendship with help from her friends.
Oh, these names, man. These names. Jeez.
These names are awesome.
I don't know. Like, were these names from the original? You've got more experience than I do with the original, apparently.
I do, apparently. I feel like I actually used to have a couple of My Little Ponies, or at least I had experience of toys in some way. I don't know, but I remember the toys.
You did, or your sister did?
No, it would have been me, probably.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah.
If it makes you feel better, I had a few treasure trolls.
Well, I mean, did you have battle trolls, though, when they came out?
I had both.
Nice. Okay.
And I had a Ninja Turtle troll.
Oh, of course. I think I still have a Donatello one.
Nice.
Yeah, with his purple hair. So who are a few of the actors who played in this show?
Okay, so oh man. So you're going to get to hear all the goofy names as I go through this. But the voice of Twilight Sparkle was Tara Strong, who me and Joseph know very well from all the other shows she's been in. Like she voices Harley Quinn in a few Batman animated series and in the Arkham series games. She's been the voice of Barbara Gordon through pretty much all of the Batman series, starting with Batman the Animated Series. That was a little redundant. She's also the voice of Raven from Teen Titans. She is Bubbles from Powerpuff Girls. She's Kylie from the Extreme Ghostbusters. And she was the original voice of Hello Kitty. The voices of Applejack and Rainbow Dash were Ashley Ball, who has done tons of anime. She was also the voice of Princess Allura in Voltron Force, the voice of Mary Test in Johnny Test, and the voice of Plum Pudding in Strawberry Shortcake. Now, I didn't list each one of these people that's in Strawberry Shortcake, but the majority of this cast is also in the Strawberry Shortcake cartoon. And there's actually several cartoons that this entire cast is part of. I didn't list all of them, but just so you know that this cast is very used to working with each other.
Gotcha. Nice.
The voices of Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy were Andrea Libman, who was the voice of Chi-Chi from one of the English dubs of Dragon Ball. And she was the voice of Andrea. I think it's Andrea. I don't know. Or Andrea. I don't know.
That's
in
probably
Reboot.
right. That sounds right.
Does anyone know how to say that? Please help. And she's also the voice of the newest version of Maya the Bee. The voice of Rarity was Tabitha St. Germain, who's been in lots of classic cartoons from the 80s and 90s, like Cops, Alf, where she was the voice of Rhonda, which we've done on this show. So, Joseph, I'm sure you remember Rhonda. She was in The Legend of Zelda, the Super Mario Brothers cartoons, all of them. And she's done tons of anime and continues to star in lots of newer cartoons. The voice of Spike was Kathy Westluck, who was Chaozu, Puar, and Trunks in one of the English dubs of Dragon Ball Z. She was also the voice of Shampoo from Ranma Half and Dorothy from Gundam Wing. Yes, I love Gundam Wing. We haven't done it yet, but soon. And the voice of Princess Celestia was Nicole Oliver, who has also been in tons of anime. And she's also the sorceress in Masters of the Universe versus the Snake Men, which is a cartoon I didn't know existed, but sounds awesome, as well as several Transformers series. So that's your cast. That's all the crazy happiness, fun butterfly, horse, pony names.
Which one? Who played Rainbow Dash?
Rainbow Dash was Ashley Ball.
Okay, see, for me, like, that sounded like almost a slightly higher pitched Cree Summer. Like, that's what I thought it was at first. You
know who I thought it was at first? At first, I thought it was the person that voiced Buttercup from Powerpuff Girls.
Okay.
Because, like, right away, I was like, that's Buttercup. Because I already knew that Tara Strong was the main pony because I know a lot about what Tara Strong does. So I'm like, okay, I bet part of the cast from Powerpuff is in here, but I guess not. At least maybe she is. I don't know. I guess I didn't really look.
For if you tasty marshmallows out of a big bowl of My Little Pony cereal, this is actually connected exactly with what you were talking about right now. So the Wonderbolts costume, and the Wonderbolts are like the flying Pegasus, like the good guy flying Pegasus crew on the pony side. So their costumes were designed by Lauren Faust's husband and creator of the Powerpuff Girls 1998, Craig McCracken. So Lauren Faust, the person who, essentially created the Friendship is Magic, My Little Pony, her husband is Craig McCracken. So that's really cool. It's a neat connection.
That makes a lot of sense, having watched this and having been familiar with a lot of Craig's shows. Because his shows were like really that early Cartoon Network thing where he had like Dexter's Lab and Powerpuff Girls and all that stuff. So Johnny Bravo, this I can definitely see some parallels there.
Yeah, exactly. And secondly, Applejack is the only main character to remain mostly the same to the character she was based on. The other 5 main pony characters are all amalgamations of several characters from past generations of the show.
Interesting.
Yeah, like I know that Twilight Sparkle is like the daughter of one of the G1 My Little Pony characters, like maybe not like officially based on, like you couldn't really carry over the series one from the other, but in name at least, her mother is one of the original ponies. So they do tie in connections here and there.
So this isn't a reboot, or no, this isn't a continuation. This is a reboot of the original. And they use Applejack is one of the originals that they reimagined. And the rest of them are like, they took ideas from some of the originals, or some of the originals would be their parents if they were in this show.
Yeah, exactly.
Is what you're saying.
Yep.
Okay. So it's kind of a hodgepodge of different ideas. Some from the others, some are brand new.
Exactly. But know that this is a reboot from the start. So it's not like you can look back and be like, oh, this is connected to that.
Like, I want to see the origin of Princess Celestia. You're not going to get it.
Yeah, exactly.
From the old one. Got it.
It's probably in this show somewhere for all we know. Yeah. Also, the baby dragon Spike is a recurring character that has shown up in every televised version of My Little Pony. So that's another thing where it's like, he's been in every single one, but he's still a baby. So obviously he's not, it doesn't carry over like generation to generation unless dragons just age incredibly slow.
Or he's like Stewie and it's just,
he's
going
always
to be
a
young
baby.
forever.
Or Maggie from The Simpsons. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
This show broke My Little Pony and Friends from 1986 record of being the longest running My Little Pony TV series. And also at 100 plus episodes, this series is also the longest running individual television series featuring a Hasbro toy property in the company's history.
Wow.
Yeah.
When are we going to get that My Little Pony Transformers crossover?
My Little Transformer.
My Little Transformer, yeah. I'm shipping Optimus and Twilight Sparkle right now.
It just makes sense.
Oh, man, if they could have a little transforming pony robot kid named Sparkle Prime.
Oh, exactly.
I would love to see Sparkle Prime.
It would be like Sparkamus Prime.
Sparkamus Prime. Oh, man. Rainbow Tron would be like
Rainbow Tron. Oh, but she would be evil.
Yes.
Oh.
Evil Rainbow Tron.
Evil Rainbow Tron. So, and this is something I was kind of talking about earlier a little bit. A fan favorite pony, a light gray Pegasus mare with blonde hair and a bunch of bubbles as her cutie mark, has many names. The fan name is Derpy or Derpy Hooves, but the name was used in the show once. However, some people found the name offensive, even though Derpy is just meant to mean clumsy in this instance. So her show name is Ditsy Doo and more recently Muffins, but on merchandise, her mark is either a picture of a muffin, her face, or just bubbles. So this character, nice. The reason she became like crazy popular amongst the fans was because she was just like a background pony in the first episode at Twilight Sparkle's like welcoming party. And,
right.
But her eyes were just like super cross-eyed and her mouth looked really derpy. So,
oh, you know what? I think I saw that.
Yeah.
I think I picked up on. I just remember one of the ponies looking super goofy, like, and they didn't say anything about it.
It's funny because it was like this, like the background character as a background pony, like she was just chosen from like a template of these things, and her face was originally supposed to be like behind another pony or something, but in the final version, like a final edit, it came out in front instead, the way it was layered. And so it was kind of a mistake, but the fans really focused on that and made it a whole big thing on 4chan, I think. So,
of course.
Yeah, they made memes of it and all kinds of stuff and named her. And then, like I said, in one of the episodes, last roundup, the decision to alter the character was made by Hasbro or the Hub, whoever, in response to emails complaining about the character's portrayal and the word derpy. So originally, I think Rainbow Dash actually called her Derpy or called her by the name Derpy in that episode, but then they went back and changed the episode because people found it offensive, and then that was taken out altogether.
Oh, they should have just left it, because it's not like, I don't know, like to me, like I can kind of see where they're coming from, because I guess like people could take Derpy as like a slang for being retarded or something. But like, I don't see, I don't make that connection. I just like, if somebody's derpy, I just think they're goofy or they just did something dumb. I don't equate it with like mental retardation or anything.
Yeah.
You know, like if I do something wrong, I'm like, derp.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not what her character is anyway. She's just a really clumsy, goofy character. And
right.
But I mean, people are offended by anything. So, and the show kind of has to pull back in response to that. But what's cool about it is like the developers of this show, they do kind of like try to play into fan service whenever they can, because there's such a huge following of this with the, with the adult crowd, especially, well, not especially, but with the adult crowd as well as the young crowd. So, but the adult crowd's the one who's more likely to do things like make a name for, Derpy Hooves pony and stuff like that. And there's actually even one pony that it resembled a doctor from Doctor Who or something. It had an hourglass on its as its mark,
of course.
But I can't remember what its actual name was, like Time Turner or something like that. But then the fans called it Dr. Hooves. And so on merchandise, they actually started calling it Dr. Hooves. So now that pony's official name is Dr. Hooves because of the fans.
Yeah, like this fandom is huge, and I've noticed that from my first big exposure to it was going to Comic-Con in San Diego a few years ago. The first year I went was when I I first noticed it because they had some sort of panel there, and there were so many people with My Little Pony stuff and cosplayers, and I was just kind of like, I didn't know that there was a new My Little Pony, and now it's huge and everywhere. And, like I follow like Tara Strong on Twitter, and just she does lots of references to it. She's always voicing the character, saying goofy things. And then I'm just like, man, this was way bigger than I thought it was. And just the more I've read about it and seen, it's huge. It is like almost unlike any other fandom out there.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty crazy. And I think I had also seen a panel on it as well. It was kind of explaining it out a little bit. And I was like, okay, so it kind of makes sense to me why there's a big fan base, but I don't quite get it to the point where people are like dressing as ponies and stuff, like grown men and everything. I'm not hating. I'm just, I don't understand it fully.
There might be other things at play there. I
think really they're just fully embracing it because it's such a positive show. I really think that's what everyone is really attached to, is the positivity of it compared to how negative things are just on other shows and in certain cases. This one is just all positive. So it's great to see people following that and really trying to practice that, whatever it takes. Do you have any, memories of this show? Do you have any aside from that comic convention or what?
No, not at all. Like the only other stuff I know about it is just like I knew that the original existed because I remember seeing the toys when I was a kid. But I had never seen the old cartoon, never saw the new cartoon until this point. So I was going in pretty unfamiliar. All I knew is they were ponies and they like magic and friendship.
That's pretty much all you need to know. Yeah, it's kind of the same. Like I knew the show existed. I knew the old show existed, of course. And I may or may not have had a toy. I don't remember, but I know I've at least encountered those toys in my past. And so, it's been a huge thing throughout my childhood in some way or another, but I had never seen this show in order to verify whether or not it was as good as people say it is. So let's go ahead and jump into the 3 episodes we watched for today's show. Very first episode, highest rated episode, or finally a random listener chosen episode. Order may vary depending on how these episodes fall chronologically, but of course we have to start with the very first episode being, well, in this case, first 2 episodes because they're part 1, part 2 of Friendship is Magic. Season 1, episode 1 and 2.
Yeah. I don't know why that happened.
In this one, it gives us a good description of kind of how this land is laid out in the intro, where you've got the unicorns are raising the sun and then raising the moon. And then the moon gets jealous because everyone's enjoying the sunlight and having fun and playing while the sun's up and no one's appreciating the beautiful moon. And so Nightmare Moon, who is the younger sister, is the one who, that becomes her name after she kind of turns evil.
Well, so like this is, if you go back to our last episode, this is kind of the Unicron and Primus thing, but this is Celestia and Luna are the two. And yeah, they're kind of, I don't know, they're lording over this pony place, Equestria. That's the place, Equestria.
Right.
I just got it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so Luna was the younger one and she was all jealous, like you said. And then she kind of rebelled and was like, no, I want everything. You love me. And then like her hate manifested and kind of turned her into like an evil pony named Nightmare Moon, which is too cute to like be that evil.
But Nightmare.
Nightmare Moon. But yeah, so Celestia sadly had to seal her little sister away within the moon.
Oh, that's right.
To keep her at bay.
So you can kind of see a silhouette of like a unicorn head in the moon. However, most of the ponies just take this as kind of a fairy tale.
Right, as you would.
But they're still led by Princess Celestia. She is the one who kind of rules over the land of Equestria. We see immediately, and kind of our main character is Twilight Sparkle throughout this whole thing. And she's very studious. Like she is the kind of the quote unquote nerdy pony because she always wants to study and learn more about magic and friendship and whatnot. By her side is Spike, who is the baby dragon. And Spike's just kind of her. So Princess Celestia is Twilight Sparkle's mentor. And Spike, I guess, is kind of her squire. And what he does is he just kind of like he helps her however she needs, and he coughs up messages from, or he like, I don't know, breathes out these messages from the princess whenever she sends them. Like he just like burps fire and then a message comes out, or a scroll comes out with a message from the princess.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know, he's kind of like her email server. Like,
Yeah.
she wants to send something, she has him burp fire on it, it disappears, then he'll burp again and a new one comes out and it's like a message from Princess Celestia. So he's a handy little guy to have around if you don't mind like his, flatulence.
True. You've got the Mare and the Moon, and they're celebrating the summer sun solstice. In the legend, the longest day of the 1,000th year of the summer sun solstice, it's when Nightmare Moon is able to come free, or the Mare and the Moon is able to come free, and that's when she tries to take advantage of it and make it basically nighttime forever.
Correct. Which I'm like, is that bad? I mean, as far as evil plans go, that's pretty tame. Some guys want to take over the world or want to enslave everyone. And she's just like, I don't like the sun. And I'm like, I can get it. I can, at some point in the year, I'm kind of like, man, I really could use some sun right now. But like, if you're taking a lot of vitamin D, keep eating those carrots, ponies, and you'll be fine. You don't have to get that worked up about it.
And I mean, it's kind of like anti-sunburn. So really, she's just preventing skin cancer.
Exactly. I mean, she's just looking out for you.
Yeah. So she's kind of an anti-hero.
Yeah.
But no. The ponies are very against this idea, and they love the sunlight, love playing in it. So eventually, Twilight Sparkle heads over to Ponyville, which is where she is sent by the princess. And Ponyville is kind of where we're going to stay from that point forward, because that's where she meets all her other companions. Her mission at this point is to basically, per Celestia, to calm down about everything. Like, don't worry about the, Mare and the Moon. Just make friends and everything else will be fine. And so that's her job, even though it's really hard for her at first, because she really wants to do more research on this Nightmare Moon and the eternal twilight.
Well, and she feels like she's getting blown off by her mentor, because she's just like, hey, I'm starting to see signs that this is going to take place. I think this is a legitimate concern. It's it's like when we've got like North Korea that's like, yo, we're gonna blow you guys up, and we're like, help. Like, I think we need to look into this. And if instead our government was like, nah, they're fine. They're a bunch of good guys. Don't even worry about it. We would be like, this isn't good. So that's Twilight Sparkle. She's just like, I see the warning signs. This is going to happen. And then Celestia is like, nah, just, it's fine. Don't even bother your hooves with it. So instead, go make friends.
Yeah, she has her reasons, though, as we find out.
Yeah. Like, it's just kind of like she just wasn't telling Twilight Sparkle. She's letting Twilight Sparkle God, I hate saying that. She's letting her figure it out for herself, basically.
Yeah.
Through sending her on her errand. And then she goes, and that's where she starts individually meeting each of her new pony friends.
Yes, we meet Applejack, member of the, Apple family, of course.
Yeah, so the whole family is named after apples. Like, there's Big Macintosh, and then there's
Granny Smith,
and just like any apple you can think of, like there's a pony named after it.
And then Rainbow Dash is the one who's just kind of like, so there's regular ponies, there's Pegasus, and then there's Pegasi, I guess, and then there's unicorns, and they all are exactly what they sound like. So Rainbow Dash is a Pegasus, and which means she has wings. So she's flying around. She's going quickly. Her goal is to become part of the Wonderbolt, which is like the air.
It's like
force.
The Blue Angels.
Yeah, exactly. The Blue Angels of the ponies.
If you don't know what the Blue Angels are, it's a group of jet pilots that do like tricks and air stunts together, and they go to all the air shows and stuff. Like, I got to see them a couple months ago. They're doing stuff by my parents' place, and they flew literally right over their house. It was kind of crazy. But yeah, that's basically Rainbow Dash wants to be one of those guys. And since we were saying who's who, Twilight Sparkle is a unicorn.
Oh yeah.
But Applejack is just a straight up pony. She shouldn't have a horn or wings.
Right. So just like, since they're in Ponyville now, she was sent from Canterlot, of course, which is Camelot, basically, and that's where the princess resides. So just to put that out there.
Can I say real quick? Like, I like the animation style of this show.
Yeah, I dig it.
I think the animation style is great. The colors are fantastic. I love the colors. And I love the colors with the character design, especially like Rainbow Dash. Her design is great. She's this like light blue, but she's got like a rainbow mane and tail. But what I really enjoy, and this really stuck out to me, is all the characters are drawn with outlines. They have outlines to them, but the outlines aren't like black or something like that, like you might see in some cartoons. Like these are specifically a certain color, like Rainbow Dash has like this cerulean blue kind of outline to her that goes with her blue color and looks really cool against the rainbow mane and stuff like that. And every pony is drawn that way with like some sort of outline that kind of accents the rest of their design. And I just love that. I don't know why, but that really stood out to me.
Yeah, the art style is really cool in this, and the animation even is just very fluid. So it really is. It's cool. It's easy for fans to even replicate from what I've seen.
Oh yeah, me and you looked at some stuff today.
Oh yeah. So the next one was a Fluttershy, and she is pretty much what she sounds like. She's incredibly
adorable.
Shy, but she is very adorable, and she has that really kind of squeaky, mousy voice.
She's my favorite. I like Fluttershy.
Always whispering. It's not really until she sees Spike, and that's the first time she really sees a dragon, I guess, that she's just super excited and wants to get to know him and everything. That's when she kind of
loves
opens
animals.
Up more. Yeah, she's a huge fan of animals, and vice versa. Animals love her.
Yeah, she was like, when Twilight Sparkle found her, she was teaching some birds a song, and like she was like conducting and giving advice for the birds and stuff like that. And yeah, she's just adorable.
Oh, and so the shape of the mare and the moon, the legend is when these 4 stars meet on this 1000th anniversary or whatever, that's when Nightmare Moon's going to come out. So we're waiting for Princess Celestia to show up to this event, to this summer solstice event, and she's not there. And that's when Nightmare Moon appears. She just exclaims, like, from this moment forth, the night will last forever. And that's the end of the first part of the first episode.
Oh, wait, we forgot about maybe the most important, the pony. There's 2 ponies we didn't get to yet.
I don't think they were in this part of it, were they?
I think they were. I think she met all of them.
Well, maybe. Oh, yeah. Rarity was there, but they didn't name Rarity for some reason. Like,
yeah, they didn't say Rarity's name, but so Rarity's like the stuck-up English girl. It's the best way I can describe her.
It's interesting because, like, and what's cool about this show is like they step away from stereotypes. So she's not like super girly and like clueless and stuff like that. She's a small business owner, and she also is a designer. So that's what her traits are. It's not just that she loves design and loves clothes or whatever. Like, she has a purpose for loving those things.
And then my second favorite pony, and you're gonna understand why, is Pinkie Pie, who is the ADHD pony. Like, that's basically the best way to describe her. She is literally bouncing all over the place and super hyper and talks super fast. Even though like this is not voiced by Tara Strong, she sounds so much like Bubbles from Powerpuff Girls.
Definitely.
But yeah, I love Pinkie Pie. So we may continue now with the story.
Okay. What they need to do, and maybe I should have said this earlier, but what Twilight Sparkle is trying to do is find the elements of harmony. And the elements of harmony is what can bring peace back to the land and, basically expel Nightmare Moon, or at least her current form. Okay, so when these 6 ponies get together, like, they're able to start finding, well, actually, first, they're still hunting for it. So Pinkie Pie finds it because she's just randomly looking around, and these books are in alphabetical order. So she's like, oh, here it is, like the Elements of Harmony reference guide. And
right, that's very convenient.
Yeah, exactly. The elements are kindness, laughter, generosity, honesty, loyalty, and the 6 at this point is a complete mystery. They need to travel to the Ever Free Forest or Ever?
It's a very good question.
Either way, the Ever something forest, there's the ancient castle of the Royal Pony Sisters, who we don't know who they are at this point. I mean, we kind of do, but we kind of don't. And Twilight wants to go alone at first, and then her friends, of course, won't let her. They want to support her now that they're new friends. They want to help her out. So they first encounter a manticore, which for anyone who doesn't know is like a lion, scorpion. I think that's all. Maybe it has other parts to it. Oh, it has wings also. I don't know.
And it's awesome looking.
Yeah, it actually does look really cool. Like, it is kind of fierce.
I would love to have a pet manticore.
Would you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, just to ward off my enemies, but yeah.
If it was like a baby one that I could raise from the start.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that.
So with this manticore, like, everyone's trying to first fight it, and then this is where Fluttershy really comes in with her animal friendships, and she encounters it or confronts it straight up. It's one of those situations where it had a thorn in its paw, and so she's able to like talk it down and take the thorn out, and then they're like good friends. What's cool is like she said she didn't even know about the thorn, but sometimes like all we need is to show a little kindness or something. And so
dun dun dun.
Yeah, it's basically like, just be kind, everything will work itself out.
And I'm like, that's one of the elements, kindness. Weird. Wonder why they brought that up.
And then next we go to these monster trees that are just these scary looking trees. Also the lights kind of go out, and so it's darkness. There's these scary trees all around, and this is where Pinky's element comes out, where she starts to like laugh at the trees and sings a song about facing her fears. Okay,
I didn't know that. I didn't know going in. No one said that this was going to be like musical stuff. I wasn't expecting a song. So like that started playing. I was like, no. Stop it. But like it was kind of funny, but stop it.
But it's still all's well that ends well, and everyone else starts laughing with her and facing their fears, and the trees are no longer an obstacle.
The trees get like all happy instead of like their angry faces go away when she sings.
Yeah. And then the next thing is this big like water serpent that this is actually kind of funny. Like, it comes out and half of his mustache he has this like really elegant, like almost Fu Manchu mustache, and it gets like part of it gets burnt off. He's really sad about it because he's very into his looks and everything, and he's got like a perfect hair and all this stuff, and so he's super sad about it, and they can't pass because he's in the way in the water. And so Rarity, being the stylistic one, cuts off part of her own tail in order to help to fix his mustache, and gives him a glorious new mustache, and he's happy and gets out of the way.
Like there's some other things that happen too, like they're on a cliff that breaks away. Applejack like throws herself into harm's way to save Twilight Sparkle. Basically, so like each one of the ponies, except for Twilight Sparkle at this point, goes through something that shows which of these elements that they really fit in. Mm-hmm. So like honesty, kindness, laughter, generosity, loyalty. So they all go through like a little like proving themselves moment. Not really for themselves, but proving to us and to Twilight Sparkle like who they are. And then they get to this old castle where the elements are supposed to be, and they find them, but Nightmare Moon has been a step ahead of them the entire time. And we find out she's been causing everything. Like, she ripped off the dragon's mustache. She caused the cliff to break away. She made the trees all angry looking till they got sang back to being normal trees. And she destroys the elements, and then they're like, oh crap, now what? And Twilight Sparkle is like, wait a minute, these ponies here, like, these are the real elements, and that makes the broken elements form again. And then it gives each of them like special, like, I don't know, like saddles or something.
No, they get necklaces. Yeah,
they have necklaces. Saddles. And then Twilight Sparkle realizes that the sixth element is magic, and that she embodies that one. And I don't remember her explanation for it, but she got like a cool looking like tiara or crown or something. And then like with all those, with the powers combined, they're able to trap Nightmare Moon again so that Princess Celestia could come back. And then Celestia was just like, what's up, sis? And then like, we should stop being mad at each other. And then Nightmare Moon's like, I'm so sorry. And like, they managed to banish the evil part of Nightmare Moon. So that goes away, and you're left back with Princess Luna, which is this small, adorable, charcoal-colored unicorn.
Yeah, it's interesting because it takes her back to her form, her good form, before all of this evil overtook her, which is when she was still super young.
And there's lots of like crying about friendship, mostly on Twilight Sparkle's part. She did lots of tears about how she values her friends, and I almost threw up a little bit. Like I swallowed it back down, but it was there.
She basically, like, she was about to have to go back to Canterlot, but then Princess Celestia is like, well, how about, like, I want you to stay here in Ponyville and do more research on the magic of friendship and then report back to me. And so this is what brings her permanently to Ponyville to stay with her friends.
That's what I'm just like, why wouldn't she be able to move there anyway? I mean, it seems like their correspondence is through, Spike mail. So it's not like she couldn't move if she wanted to anyway, just study in a different town. I mean, that's not that bad.
Well, and so she did. So there you go.
Yeah, and so that's exactly what happens. and all is well.
All is well. So the second episode we watched for today's show was Castlemania, Season 4, Episode 3, and this was chosen by me because it sounded like Castlevania, and I thought it was cool.
I was wondering I figured it was, you were like, castle, that's got to be spooky. So I was like, that's definitely why he had to pick it.
Oh, no, just because it sounded like Castlevania.
Castlemania.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
Now you get it. So in this one, when most of the main six visit the abandoned castle of the princesses for separate reasons, they find it seemingly haunted.
Ooh.
Yeah. So this one, I actually kind of liked this episode too, because it was pretty interesting seeing how they all kind of ended up in this castle for different reasons, looking for different things. We also get the introduction of Fluttershy's companion, her little rabbit Angel, which is adorable. It's a little bunny.
Yeah. Angel's cute.
So we've got kind of everybody teaming up in twos. Actually, it's a Twilight Sparkle and Spike go first in order to try to find a way to unlock this mysterious chest that came from the Tree of Harmony that we didn't see or anything, but this must have happened in previous episodes.
Right.
So they're looking for a way to unlock it. So they go back to the main castle that we were just at in the first episode. So that's cool that it tied back to that, because then it's a location that we know. And so they're exploring that more. She goes to the library that she just discovered, or that the princess tells her is there, to try to find a way to unlock this mysterious chest.
And there's a lot of spiders there in that library.
Oh, yeah, star spiders.
To Spike's dismay. Twilight doesn't seem to like care about anything. She's just like, oh, it's fine. And she's like reading books. Like even throughout the episode is like some weird stuff is kind of going down and Spike's freaking out. And then she's just like, whatever, I got books.
Oh, yeah. She's very much into got her nose in her books. So she's ignoring everything around her. She's able to block it out.
Right, exactly.
Rainbow Dash and Applejack are, this is kind of funny. They're competing for the title of most daring pony.
Yes.
And the first thing we see them doing is they're both covered in bees and staring at each other. And I literally, I think it's called a bee stare.
Yes.
And it's whoever like gives up first that is the loser. But then the beekeeper is just like, I'm going to need my bees back, and just like calls them back.
That made me laugh, honestly, when he did that. Yeah, because they kind of explained what was going on. He was like, oh, I'm going to need my bees back.
Yeah. And so, yeah, he takes them back. And so they're still competing with one another. I think Pinkie Pie's a judge, right? Like she's trying to figure out. Yeah.
And I love it because she's just like, well, without that, like, you guys are tied. And they're like, what? I can't believe it. And she's like, the numbers don't lie. She shows them her notepad and it's just full of doodles.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
And this is why I love Pinkie Pie.
Oh, yeah. She is ridiculous, but she is really good humor added to the show.
Oh, yeah. Especially this episode.
Yeah. Rarity and Fluttershy go to the castle because Rarity wants to get tapestries and restore them. So, because, that's her designer way.
Well, it's because she said that retro ancient classical will be all the rage next year.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
That's why.
That's also when we first get to see Angel following Fluttershy. Rainbow Dash and Applejack are going to this castle to see who can stay overnight or stay there the longest without getting scared of the ghosts and whatever. So they're still trying to do their thing. So everybody's going in twos, but separately and unbeknownst to each other. Yeah.
So, I mean, you can kind of guess what's going to happen. Like, they keep accidentally scaring each other because they don't know each other is there.
Yeah.
Plus, there's just weird stuff going on with this castle. Like, so Rarity finds this one tapestry she really likes. She has Fluttershy fly up because Fluttershy, I don't think we said it, she's a Pegasus, so she's got wings. She sends her to fly up and try to pull it down. When she tugs on it, the wall flips and Fluttershy ends up on the other side of the wall underneath the tapestry. On that other side is where Applejack and Rainbow Dash are. And it scares them, thinking it's like a haunted tapestry or something, and they run away. And then before the wall flips back, and it's like a bunch of stuff like that keeps happening to everybody. Also, Twilight suddenly has wings in this episode. Did you notice that?
I didn't notice. I mean, I guess she did, but did she not before?
She didn't before. Before, Twilight only had the horn.
Oh, so she's like a mixture then. She's a unicorn and a Pegasus.
A Pegacorn.
Pegacorn. That's interesting. I must have been something that happened in a previous episode. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. Huh. She's definitely a Pegacorn.
Pegacorn. Nice.
Yeah.
So
Google search that.
I wouldn't. So they are, they're kind of scaring each other, setting off all these traps. There's this organ to the outside is what it's called. And we see a mysterious kind of a hooded figure playing it. And it's setting off all these traps that are sending everybody either outside or to another room or something like that. Then we see another kind of mysterious figure, at least the shadow of one that we don't know who that is either. And so we've got just this whole thing going on. And eventually the main 5 of the ponies, like they finally meet up and they're like, we've all been here trying to do different things. And Fluttershy thinks that at one point she sees like this shape that she thinks is Angel and it gets crushed by a pillar. And so she thinks that Angel was just crushed and she like screams out his name.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that's when like everybody's like running around like scared. So Twilight uses her magic to freeze everybody and basically get them all calmed down.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a trick I didn't know she had.
Yeah, so
she's interesting.
So she must be getting like super powerful at this point.
Oh, one thing I did like during the part where everybody was like all the traps were going from the organ. So Angel, the bunny, had found Twilight Spike and like he's just sitting leaning up against Twilight and like this one key on the organ, every time it plays, like this floor tile flips over and there's carrots. And he keeps eating them, and then like another one will flip over, and it's more carrots. So like where everybody else is getting scared and freaked out the whole time, he just keeps getting fed, and he's having a great time.
Oh yeah.
But like you said, like this one scene, everything's going crazy. Fluttershy thinks Angel got squished. Applejack runs over the pillar that just maybe squished Angel, which was kind of funny to see the reactions there. Because Applejack's just running around freaking out. Rainbow Dash is flying around in circles, freaking out. Rarity is crying underneath the tapestry.
Oh, yeah.
It was cute. It was funny.
It's just complete like chaos going on before they get frozen. They're all kind of like wary of the Pony of Shadows, which is kind of a legend or a ghost story about this castle. Right. And then we see, I think she just kind of comes out, like Pinky comes out. And she basically explains that she was just messing around with the organ because she was earlier in the episode, like she's given the right to like ring the school bell. And they only let her do it for a few minutes because she just kept doing it. So they made her stop. And so she wanted to practice her musical ways. So she came to play this organ. And that's what was, setting off all these traps and making everybody freak out.
Well, the way it happens to like cracked me up because like they were like, we've got to confront this Pony of Shadows, and they go to that room where the organ is, and she throws off the cloak and she's just like immediate like, did you guys know I could play the organ? And just super happy about it. And then she's like explains everything, and then of course she's immediately like just bouncing around like all hyper again.
Yeah.
It is fantastic. But like at the end, when they're all kind of like, oh, it was just, we just scared each other and they're leaving. Then we see this actual like shadow with these creepy eyes like glare at them before the episode ends.
Yeah, so we don't know what that is. This must be the real Pony of Shadows, but
yeah, again,
we're not sure what that is because that's when the episode cuts off. So the last episode we watched for today's show was The Perfect Pear, Pear, Season 7, Episode 13. This is the highest rated, where Applejack and her siblings discover a few surprises when they set out to unravel the mystery of the feud between the Apple and the Pear families. I'm going to say something right off the bat. Surprisingly, this episode towards the end made me literally cry. Like, I started tearing up because of this episode.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to enjoy this one because, like, really quickly, you realized it was going to be a very like Applejack-centered episode. It ended up really not being that Applejack-centered, but she was a big part of it. And she's easily the character I enjoy the least of this show.
Yeah.
Like, I really don't like Applejack pretty much at all.
I don't have any problem with her, but she's not my favorite for sure.
She's Texan like you are, so you're just like, whatever.
Yeah. I give her a pass because she's Texan.
Right, exactly.
So in this one, we see Grand Pear comes back to Ponyville from Vancouver, which is, like Vancouver. And he's giving away this, or selling this pear, I almost said Pearl Jam. He's giving away this pear jam. And, Sugar Cube, who is this tiny little baby pony, like comes and he gives her some for free for unknown reasons. Like, she goes back to the apple farm, her home, and she's showing everybody she has this pear jam, and they're just like, everybody's freaking out, like, oh my God, like, hide this. Like, Granny Smith cannot see this pear jam. And that's when it's explained to her that there's this longstanding feud between the apples and pears. We see, this is the first time, at least Chris and I see this male pony, Big Mac.
He's the older brother of Applejack.
Exactly. And something he says a lot is like, yup.
He talks like Banjo-Kazooie. Or, well, I guess just Banjo.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yup.
So then it kind of turns into like, and this is interesting, I like the way they laid it out. It turns into like going to different members of not necessarily the family, but friends of the family who would know parts of this story. It's almost like a quest where they are sent off to talk to somebody, get some information, learn a little bit more about the history of it, and then move on to the next person, et cetera, et cetera. And I like the way that was played out. Yeah,
and it was like, so I mean, the main story, I guess, is them going to these people to find out info. But I mean, through the flashbacks, the meat of everything we're getting is the story of these two ponies in particular. So Bright Mac and Pear Butter, these are the two that we keep hearing about. Like, the first story is like they're little kids, like tiny little baby ponies, and they meet for the first time. And Bright Mac gives Pear Butter the nickname Buttercup, which she thought was kind of cute. But, it's a very like Hatfield and McCoy story to begin with, where it's the two feuding families that hate each other, like, don't ask questions about it kind of thing. And then like over like each person that they meet, I guess really starting with this, there's a pony named Burnt Oak that they talk to, which is basically a pony version of Sam Elliott.
Yeah, exactly.
The actor. And you really start finding out there that it's more of a Romeo and Juliet story because they have like an affection for each other and they kind of fall in love with each other. And they're finding out the love story between these two through that. And then that's when the kids find out for the first time that Buttercup, which is their mother, I mean, they know their dad is Bright Mac, but Buttercup, which is their mother, they didn't know she was actually Pear Butter, which is a pear. So that means they're half pear, and they had no idea.
Yeah, exactly. And this is 7 seasons in, so this is a big reveal just for the universe as a whole, I guess.
So they also talked to, aside from Burnt Oak, they talked to a pony named Mrs. Cake.
Yeah.
Which Mrs. Cake was fun. She sounds like she's from Minnesota, which was kind of funny because that's where I live. So me and you both got people that sound stereotypically like where we're from in this episode, which is great. And like, I don't remember if it was this flashback or if it's the last flashback they get. I think it was this flashback where they showed the two of them sitting like at a picnic and Buttercup plays a song on guitar.
That's this flashback. Yep.
Okay, first of all, how do ponies play guitar when they don't have fingers? How does anything play a guitar with no fingers? That's just question number one. I don't really have a follow-up question to that. That's my only question. But I really liked the song. And I'm kind of mad that I like it, but I really liked it. It was super cute. I liked it too. It was a really sweet song about falling in love and stuff like that. And it's not like it was like a little kiddie song. This is a song that you would hear on like, you know, some sort of indie album or something like that. Like, I don't know, it was folksy. The singing was really interesting, like hitting all these high notes at intervals that you didn't expect. And it was just really beautiful. Yeah, I also really liked that song, and I was going to say that too, but luckily we both liked it, so good deal. Ta-da! This is also where they first tell each other that they love each other, and that's a really sweet moment too. It was a fun little exchange they had where they were able to express their feelings to each other in what really kind of felt like a very playful way, and I liked that it wasn't super straightforward. Like, it actually felt like a fun little romance. I mean, it felt kind of natural and kind of real. For as much as you can for animated ponies, Yeah, well, it's like if you didn't see them as ponies, if you were watching two humans act this whole scene out, it would feel real. Yes, which I thought was cool. Yeah, that's something I really think they did a great job on with the show, is making these ponies have like interactions that we can relate to very well. Yeah, and that's an accomplishment, I think. Yeah, I would agree with that. And the last person that they speak with is the mayor, who says, "Hold on, say the mayor's name." Yeah, mayor. Get it? Mayor. Okay. The mayor reveals that she officiated the wedding, and you see that flashback, and that flashback was very bittersweet because they're basically eloping. Burnt Oak and Mrs. Cake, or who I guess was Miss Cake at the time, I don't know, were the witnesses. So they're there, and it's just really cute, and they're saying the vows when Grandpear and Granny Smith both kind of show up about the same time and just haphazardly, and they're like, what is going on? You can't marry, blah, blah, blah. Grandpear basically tells Buttercup that she can't marry him, but it's too late. They're already married, and he's like, you have to choose your family or him. And she's like, are you really going to make me choose? And he kind of pauses for a second, but then he says yes. And then she says, okay, well, I choose him. That was like, it was kind of I don't know, man. Like, I felt moved way more than I feel like I should watching animated ponies on a cartoon. But like, and Granny Smith like immediately kind of accepted her when she did that and stood up and said, I'm part of this family now, and kind of like gave her the little nuzzle and stuff. And Grandpear left in anger. And I guess he moved all the Pears out of the city then. But like, to see her go through that, basically her wedding, which was like a super happy moment, and being abandoned and disowned by her family at the same time, was kind of rough, honestly, dude. And Pear Butter, or Buttercup, was saying like, you know, I'm part of the Apple family now too. So because, you know, they're married. So that was a really tough moment. That's not the part that made me cry though. And we're about to get there. Yeah. Like this, I was into it. At this point, I was like, oh man, like I'm super tied into it. Like I almost stopped looking at them as ponies and was watching it as if it were like humans interacting. They're real people. Yeah. So I was super tied into the story at this point. And then this when we go back to the present day, where you've got Grandpear, who has now come back with his pear butter, or not, well, with his pear jam and everything to give away. And we weren't sure why at first, but this story kind of explained that. So now we've got the younger ponies, who are Applejack and Big Mac, who are his grandchildren. And that's not what you presume at first. So they come there and they confront him about it, not like in an aggressive way, but they talk to him about it, and he's just like, this is when he breaks down, and this is when I broke down, because he was just like, you know, I'm so sorry, I was just so angry, and he starts crying, and I was crying, and they're all crying, everyone's crying, and then so they're calling him grandfather now, and that was emotional too. A little, was it Sugar Cube? Is that the youngest?
Yeah, Sugar Cube.
Sugar Cube says, "Can I call you Grandpear Pear?"
Yeah. And he's like, "You absolutely," or something like that.
Yeah, he's super happy about it.
And he was expressing how he let a silly feud keep him from his family, and, no more. Granny and Grandpear reunite as well. And it's kind of like all is forgiven from all of this. And also during the wedding, like in order to show their bond, they plant these two seeds. We don't know what they are at first, but it turns out to be an apple tree and a pear tree. And we go back to the site of the wedding, and those trees are intertwined now, like growing together. Now that was a really nice, like symbolic way to show the reunion or the companionship between how pears and apples can really get along. And I thought that was just super adorable.
And what was cool too is it was like the tree trunks like intertwined and swirled around each other, but the foliage itself, there was both apples and pears growing on both.
Yeah.
Which was cool. So it wasn't like you're seeing the pear tree and the apple tree together. It's like they literally became one tree with two trunks.
Yeah. So again, nice symbolism and just a kind of a really good way to wrap up that episode.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Chris, looks like it's about time we seek out our very own cutie marks with the help of our inner kids. And after finding out they're actually average looking marks at best, we'll see what they thought of the show My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic.
Okay, I'm a little confused. I'm supposed to hate ponies because I'm a boy, but I didn't hate it, and it made me feel something. I think it was happiness? Wait, does this mean I'm a girl? Oh no. What if this has an effect on my psychological development, causing unnatural thinking patterns and irreversible damage to my Y chromosomes? I mean, Fluttershy was super cute, and if I was a pony, she'd be my pony girlfriend. So I gave this cartoon 4 bowls of rainbow glitter sparkle magic cereal with friendship marshmallows out of 5. And now I'm gonna go to the tattoo parlor and get my pizza-shaped cutie mark. And my pony name is Lightning Spaz.
I came into this show not really knowing what to expect, but left feeling pleasantly surprised and even sort of uplifted. Though initially intended for little girls, there's actually a lot to like about the show for everyone. From the adventure-based format, to the characters who break gender stereotypes, to the jokes that even an older audience can appreciate. While all of that already has the makings of a good show, what really sends this one above and beyond is the incredibly positive message that this show reinforces, especially when it comes to caring for and being inclusive of others. Overall, I'd give My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic 4.5 big bowls of, cereal out of 5. And I think if I'm gonna get a cutie mark too, it'll probably just be a pair of glasses.
It's true, we did get those cutie marks. At least I have that tramp stamp on my back. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I try to get laser removal, but, funny thing, not the same as a tattoo.
No.
Not the same.
You cannot get rid of a cutie mark. So, word of the wise, Be careful what you wish for.
You're stuck with it. Yeah, exactly. So, do you have any final thoughts about My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic?
My final thoughts on this show are that friendship is indeed magic. Now, I really love this show. Like, I wouldn't call myself like a full-fledged brony or anything, but I definitely appreciate the message that it sends. Positivity, I'm always for. And I think in any way that we can reinforce that, let's do it. So I'm personally glad I got to actually catch this show. I don't think I would have watched it for any other reason, but now I'm glad I did.
So, yeah, the first episode really weared me down, man, because it was too little kid for my adult brain to enjoy. But the episodes after that really picked up, and I really had a lot of fun, and you get to see these characters just be normal instead of hammering home their personality traits and how those fit together like that first episode was. They just get to be themselves. They get to be goofy, and you get to see like real interaction, which was a lot more fun than forcing the introduction of each character in the first episode. So after that first episode, like I said, I really ended up enjoying it. So I see the appeal, but not to the extent of the whole brony thing, as you said. I'm proud to say that I went in and I came out the other side unscathed, but I do kind of want to watch more. Shut up. Hashtag I stand with Derpy.
I really didn't expect this show to make me cry, but I guess I never really expect cartoons to make me cry, but they always do somehow. They manage.
I expect ponies to make you cry.
So thank you, Ben, for suggesting this. I really am glad we watched it.
Yes, thank you so much, Ben.
Well, listeners, it looks like our milk supply is now run dry, so it's time for us to say goodbye. Next week, we'll be watching
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 2012 for our 100th episode. Yay!
Yay!
Applause. Everyone clap. Yay! We made it. We made it to 100. We're done.
We're dead. That's it. That's it.
That's it.
Can't go any
That's
further.
the final episode.
Brought
We'll
it full
never
circle.
do this again.
Started with Ninja Turtles,
We're all done.
ending with Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, never again.
That's probably not true. I'm sure we're going to keep going.
No, it's not true at all. We're horrible liars.
Well, once again, I'm Joseph.
And I'm Chris.
And we'll see you next Saturday.
Presented by Nerdsloth.
A place for lazy nerds.
If you like what you heard, consider donating at patreon.com/nerdsloth so we can continue bringing you quality shows. Be sure to also leave us a review and share your favorite episodes and clips on social media. If you're looking for more content, visit us at nerdsloth.com.